Welcome to Give Me Hope with your host and author, Johanna Vendel. Come join the conversation as Johanna focuses on sharing impactful personal narratives of loss. Her platform provides a safe space for individuals to express themselves, find comfort, and build connections as they navigate their grief journey. So now, please welcome the host of Give Me Hope, Johanna Vendel.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Give Me Hope with Johanna. Today, I want to speak to you about my book that I have published just over 3 weeks ago, and it's called Plotting the Murder of Sabrina. It is actually doing so well already. A lot of people have given me feedback, and it just feels so good when people speak about your work. Today, I have a lady that has written 2 books, which we will speak about, and her name is Rosa Esthela Mora. And I am not sure if I'm saying that properly, but I think that is it. So let's welcome Rosa. Welcome to Give Me Hope with Johanna, Rosa.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invite.
You are very welcome. So, would you like to start maybe just by introducing yourself to my viewers and telling them just a little bit about your background and how did you start writing books and how did your story become a story? So, tell us a little bit about yourself first.
I'm just a Mexican-American author with 2 published novels, contemporary fiction. I am a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, an educator, high school teacher, foreign language.
Oh.
And all I can say is that I am honored to be here because I would like to share a little bit of my story and a little bit of what is in my books, because I think that women, well, everyone, we're all connected, but women in general, we need to hear from other women. So we kind of get to realize that we're not alone in this planet and that
Yes.
we need to give each other hope. And that's why I feel so happy to be here with you. And I would like to say that the reason why I'm here is because after 43 years in this beautiful world, I think that there are so many lessons and experiences to share and so many things yet to learn.
Yes, I always say you are never too old to learn something new.
Always.
So, Rosa, would you like to start with your story, maybe?
Yeah, I would like to tell a little bit of my something that happened to me that made me lose hope. And then I think that a lot of women are going to understand what it is to feel like there's no one out there who can love you the way you want to be loved. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to write my book. Because to be honest, I was just thinking about writing one book and that's it. But people started reading my book and they said, no, I need a sequel. I need more. So just being a woman sometimes is not easy. We are very emotional. We experience so many things. And along the way, we lose hope. And at some point, something happens and we get it back.
Yes, I can definitely tell you that I've been through that same feeling, and I hardly had any hope, to just take another day of breath, and I didn't want to live anymore for a while there. But let me tell you, as soon as you get that little bit of hope back, it changes your life so much. And it then can turn into a book. So tell us about it.
Yeah, well, my book is called Becoming Sophia Bosco. It's the story of Sophia Bosco is the main character. She's a French professor in a New York university. She's in her 30s and she's hopeless about love. She's trying to define who she is, what she wants out of life. And she travels, she goes to Italy, she goes to Paris, she goes to Marrakesh in Morocco, and she travels around the world to discover herself and searching for true love. And what happens is that in order to find true love, romantic love, you need to learn to love yourself first.
Oh,
So her
yes.
journey was kind of like an easy, kind of, there were some bumps in the journey, but those were stepping stones to her destiny and to the true love that she was um, searching
Looking
for.
for.
And I believe that is it's we need to have the courage. And like you said, some days we lose all hope and we feel that everything is so dark and we have no energy or motivation to get up and to continue living. But we need to understand that it's just maybe one day or 1 minute or just a phase in our lives. And that's the point of this novel, that Sophia Bosco is there to share with us, women and men even,
Mm.
that it's a matter of taking steps, taking action, making decisions, and having the courage to discover who we really are, to honor how we feel, to honor who we are and who we want to become.
Wow. So tell me, um, obviously it's a fiction, and do you write fictions based on true events, or is it just complete fiction of a story that you just started to think about?
It's a combination of both. And to be honest, something funny happened recently. As I told you, I'm a high school teacher, so I was at my job, and women, some woman comes to me and she says, "Hey, I want to buy your book. Do you have a copy?" And I said, "Yes, I do have a copy." And she said, "They told me it's a really nice story. I would like to read it." So she got the book. But then I ran into her in the hallway and she tells someone else, "Hey, I got her book." And the other person said, "I told you you're going to find out everything, you know?" And I couldn't help laughing at that, not in front of them, obviously.
No.
They were not aware I was around. But the point is this: people think it's my story, you know?
Mm.
And I think that's one of the prerogatives of being a writer, that you have the freedom to write and no one will ever know if it's true or not, if it's your imagination, if it's fiction, or is it based on true events. But
Yeah,
all I can say is obviously it's fiction, but it's very hard for a writer not to project themselves in the story. So those who
definitely.
know me, they're going to discover I'm there. You're going to kind of see, my experiences and my emotions, and it's very, very interesting to find how unconsciously, because there are so many things that unconsciously we write in the story. And then when you read it, it's like, wow, when did I write this? But unconscious manifest in our writing. So
Yes.
it's a little bit of both.
Wow, wow. So where does your story take place?
It takes mainly New York,
Okay.
and Sofia Bosco lives there. She's as I said, a French professor in a New York university, but she has an aunt and she lives in Paris. So Antonella, her aunt, invites her to go to Paris. So she goes to Paris, and then Antonella says, "Let's go to Marrakesh." So she goes to Morocco. So it's a book that takes you places, and
Wow.
places like far away lands, but also it takes you deep inside yourself to get in touch with how you feel, and those fears that sometimes we have, and because of that fear we lose hope.
Mm.
But then when you start facing them and embracing them in a way, you gain your hope back.
Definitely, definitely. Wow, it sounds like a interesting story. Is it a romance? Does
It's a
she find the
romance.
person that she was looking for?
She finds the person she's looking for, not exactly the way she wanted it, And here's the point is that Sophia had this idea of true love. And again, it was an idea.
Mm.
And because of that self-discovery process and that having the courage of saying, hey, this is what I want to be loved, I want to be
Yes.
able to love, she discovered what true love actually is. It's not
Wow.
in the shape of our ideas. Sometimes true love shows up in a way we never expected.
Yes. Wow. I'm also slowly but surely now putting my mind to some fiction books. I have written three non-fictional books, but only because I needed to work through all my heartache and my grief, as I have actually lost my entire family of six people. I don't know if you know that. Um, but I've lost my mom, my dad, my three sisters, and my brother before I turned 46 years of age. But now I'm doing a lot better, and it's difficult, when you feel like this. But when you start to journal and you start to write down all your thoughts and your feelings and everything that happened, you definitely get the strength to write another book. I was just like focusing on writing my first autobiography just to get everything out of my system. And then all of a sudden, I started to just feel like, oh my word, I think the writing bug has bitten me.
It's
So
a healing process. It's therapy.
it's very therapeutic. I really enjoy
Mhm.
writing, and now I'm I'm finished writing about myself, but I've got a lot of stories in my life that happened, and now I'm transforming my mind into fictional mindset so that I can work a little bit more on that. But wow, it is so much different to think about. You can actually write the story and you can finish it the way you want it to finish, because sometimes your story of the life you led
Uh-huh.
or things like that does not end up the way you want it to end up. But you can definitely finish your book that way and let your story end up the way you want. Um, so
That's the freedom of fiction.
that is what I must say. I'm starting to really enjoy it because I started with my first fiction book that I just published, and I'm all of a sudden now busy with a second one, and there's a third one in my inbox now where I'm busy thinking of something else. It's so strange how it actually starts to just work all the time in your mind. When you start to do fiction, I think I'm gonna love being a fictional writer. I'm
That's
definitely
great.
only starting.
That's great. Welcome to our world, then.
Yes, thank you. So, do you have a trailer of this first book that you were talking about?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Would you mind if I show it to the people?
No, let's go ahead and watch it.
Okay, let's do it. Well, now that was her trailer, and I must say, it's really nice.
Thank
I
you.
think it's a very nice story, and people should definitely go read your book. I will have Rosa's links down in the description. If you feel like wanting to read her books, you can just go click on the link down below and you will be able to purchase her book and read her story. Rosa, I believe that there is a second book as well. Do you want to start telling me that story?
Yes, well, actually, I never thought I was going to write a sequel. I thought it's just my dream to become an author. I'll write one book and that's it. But then people were like, no, I want to know more about the story. What happened to Sophia? What happened to Antonella? What about Diego? You know, all the main characters.
See, that is
So,
the thing. You read the first book and you're like, oh, but it can't end like that, you know?
and you know what? It's more like you fall in love with the characters, you connect to them. And I got comments like, you know, from a friend who is a police officer. So get a picture. He said, I know Sophia is a woman and I'm a man, but I can relate to her. I can feel the way she feels, you know? So
That's
it's
good.
like that connection with the characters that made people want to know more. You know, what happened then?
Yes.
I wrote The Sophia Bosco Effect. My book recently got an award from the International Latino Book Awards in California. Well, actually, the both books, it's a multilingual book in the sense of the story provides some conversations in Italian. Obviously, I provide the translation on the footnotes. Some conversations in French because Sophia speaks Italian and French, obviously
Oh,
English. So it's a very interesting, it's a multicultural book. It takes you places and it helps you to learn a little bit of those languages as well.
wow,
And
that is amazing.
my book is published in Spanish and English in both versions. It's available in both versions right now. I'm currently working on the French translation of the first book, Becoming Sophia Bosco, because some people were asking for that version. And I take care of the translation myself. I have my editors, obviously, but I like to translate the books into these languages that I speak already because I want to keep my voice and I want to make sure that the story is transmitted the right way. So
Yeah.
for now, as long as we have to translate them to the languages I speak, I'm going to take care of it as long as I can.
Wow, that is
Uh,
actually so amazing because I think, as you can hear, I'm also not English, but never have I thought of writing my books in my own language because I'm just thinking, the world is English. Like at least everyone around the whole world can read my book in English, but
uh-huh.
um, yeah, thinking about my own language, that can be interesting.
And to be very honest, Johanna, when I'm translating to French, and this is what happened, I started translating the book, and I teach French at high school. So my
Oh,
French 4 students were like, "Okay, what if we read your book?" And then I said, "What if I translate the book to French and you read the French version?" So
wow.
I started working on the French translation, and they start. We did a work kind of. We have a process of the Rosetta Stone process of learning languages. So they would
Okay.
read the English version of the book, and they would have a copy of the English version and the French version, and they
Wow.
would compare both
Wow.
versions.
So I can say to you, bonjour, Rosa.
Oh bonjour, voilà,
Comment ça va?
ça va super bien.
Ah, ça va, babe.
So it was quite an experience because they
Yes.
could discover the French language by comparing to the English language and saying, hey, in English we say it this way, and we have just, let's say, the phrase is composed of 5 words, but then you read the French version and there are 8 words. How come it's a longer phrase? So my students were asking these questions about and discovering like the nature of each language and appreciating how we can express ourselves
Yes.
in a different way in another language.
Yes.
From the
So
author,
what is your original language?
okay, my book was written first in Spanish.
So you originally is Spanish.
Yeah, I would
Speak
say my native
Spanish.
language is Spanish because I was
Okay.
raised in Mexico. I came back to the US for college. So
Oh,
most of my, let's say my, even, I mean, I live in the border with Mexico. So here in McAllen, we live in the border with Mexico. We're 20 minutes away from Mexico. So that's the
wow.
life of the border, to be in both places at the same time sometimes, you
Yes.
know? Uh,
Wow.
but my inspiration was in Spanish. I started writing in Spanish and then I translated it to English. And yeah, it's been quite an
Wow.
experience. And
Wow.
to be very
So
honest,
my language is also very difficult to think about it. I actually think English is difficult because with my language, if I say something in English and I have to say it in my own language, sometimes it's like you say it the other way around. So the beginning of the sentence is at the end, and the end of the sentence is at the
uh-huh,
beginning. So it's completely other way around. And oh my word, at least my English has improved quite a lot, since I've been living in America now for almost 9.5 years. But
wow.
my word, there was a stage where I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to think in English. I don't want to speak English anymore because I can't think in English. I still think in my own language and translate it."
You know, it's interesting how the brain works, right? When you switch from one language to another and how you find ways to express yourself in one language. And I always tell my students and everyone who asks me, like, what is it to speak four languages? And I said, I love it because I get to be a different woman every time I switch from one language to another.
Yeah.
It's not the same. I'm not the same when I'm speaking Spanish or when I'm speaking Italian. And I
Yeah.
always do this trick to my students. And I say, okay, you're going to hear me say different stuff in the four languages and tell me what differences do you see. And they are like, wow, your voice changes, your expression, your gestures, stuff like that.
See, that is exactly why I am so in awe of you writing in different languages, because for me, it's really difficult to express myself in English because I am Afrikaans.
Uh-huh.
And Afrikaans is a South African language. So it's similar to a Dutch language.
I love your accent.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, do you want to continue with your story on your second book?
Well, the second book, then people were like, okay, we need more. So one day I told my husband, well, people are asking for the second book. And he said, I'm asking for it myself. So I got the inspiration. I work by inspiration. I cannot force myself to a date or to write because I have to write. So one day I got the inspiration. It was around the beginning of the year. And this time I kept track of, the date I was writing the chapter, how long it took me, and stuff like that. So I wrote the sequel in 10 months, a total of 14 days within those 10 months. And the inspiration flowed. It was like the information was there already, the experience was there. And I named the second book the Sophia Bosco Effect because the first one is called Becoming Sophia Bosco. I think that the process of becoming is a very strong word.
Mm,
And the process of becoming, it's kind of like life itself. If you think about it, we're always experiencing that process of, okay, I am this person now, but then there's something happens to me and that has an effect on me, and now I'm a different woman, or I feel differently, or something changed.
mm,
And in the story Becoming Sophia Bosco, she finds herself, but in the sequel, the Sophia Bosco Effect, she discovers her effect on people based on who she truly is. And I think that all of us, we have that effect on people. And once we realize that about our effect, we
mm,
become more conscious about our actions, our behavior, how we treat other people, how we carry ourselves. So the Sofia Bosco effect is all about her effect on other people. She discovers it when people approaches her and tell her, this is how I feel when I'm with you, stuff like that. But at the same time, it's about learning one now that she found true love. Now she's learning about the process of committing to a man and what it entails to be engaged and get married. So it's a book. It's going to become a trilogy. I'm working on the third book already, and it's going to be a trilogy that it's going to be kind of like a guide to women, but also to everyone about the process of first defining who you truly are, honoring who you are, embracing who you are, and loving yourself in order to find true love and commit to that other person, because true love does exist and a happy marriage is totally possible. But
Yes.
it's only possible when you know this recipe, that
Yes.
is a combination of loving yourself and being there for someone else.
Yes. If I can also say that I also had to discover myself a little bit after losing my entire family. I needed to kind of um, be fine with just being me,
Mhm.
and just loving myself in a way. And first, I was struggling a lot, and then I got God in my life, and my life started to change a little bit. And I started to see myself different, and realizing that God will not send you someone to love you if you cannot even love yourself. Because why will that person come and love you if you can't even love yourself? So that was also quite a um, something that I needed to go through a little bit to discover the other side of me. Because when you lose people in your life, you change. You
Mhm.
can't be the same person that you were, because you were a different person when they were alive. Now you have to discover this new you that now have to, excuse me, to live your life now again to the fullest, So it is very, very important that you find a way to love yourself. If anybody is watching this, it's very important. And as soon as you can find yourself, I am definitely an example of someone that can definitely continue with life again
Mhm.
and appreciate what we have in our lives. Um, and that all started me looking in the mirror and saying, you know what, this is who I am. And God made us all a certain way and a
Mhm.
certain look. And you can't look more prettier than what you are now. You can just be the best version of yourself. And as soon as you then start to show that version to people, you actually look different to them as well. It's I can also speak about this quite a lot if I must actually go into depth with that, but wow, you have definitely stirred up some emotion in me, making me think back a little bit. Wow, amazing.
And I think that, Joanna, I'm so glad you're talking about this, because sometimes we well, most of the time we make the mistake of comparing ourselves to others. And that's a huge no-no, because we need to learn that each of us, we're unique and we're
Definitely.
beautiful the way we are. And like you said, we're just here to become our best version, you
Yes,
know? And that best
definitely.
and that best version is just loving who you are, the way you are. Sometimes,
Yes.
yeah, we can get a makeover, maybe, get a different lipstick, stuff like that, change our closet, stuff like minor changes or big changes.
We are the biggest judges of ourselves. And what we should learn, and actually what I have learned now in the past, is that we shouldn't judge ourselves too harsh. And really, like you say, as soon as you start to just overcome all of that and love yourself, life is just going better and better by the day.
Yeah, and you know what? We cannot be that hard on ourselves. We judge ourselves a lot. And I think we need to begin by being compassionate first with ourselves so we can be compassionate with others. And
Yes,
it's just a matter of saying, hey, I'm a human. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I will never be perfect. But I'm here in the process of learning and becoming my best version. And I think that what makes life beautiful, to keep going, that process going, every day saying, hey, I try my best being patient. I try my best trying to understand others, being there for someone, listening attentively to someone who needs me, or stuff like that.
Ye-
It's a lack of, we don't have the ability, or sometimes we ignore that we are one, and I can see myself in you, and you can see yourself in me, because we're all connected. We're interconnected. So some people, they see themselves as, an individual unit, But when we start looking at ourselves from a different standpoint and say, okay, we're all connected. Whatever I do to the other person in front of me, I'm doing it to myself. Then it changes, and
Exactly,
that's
because
why,
it's going to also upset you
yeah,
if that person turn around and and then it's going to upset you and you're going to like feel, why didn't I just help that person
yeah,
quickly? So just go out of your way, that's what I will tell people. um, Go out of your way and just be nice to people. That's all we can do. And it just makes life a little bit better, especially if you have been through a lot of heartache. Nobody knows what people have been through. I
yeah.
mean, some people have a bad down day, and other people are just so rude to them, and you never know what that person has been through.
Yeah, and we need to also, we as we practice that connection, we discover that whenever we can relate to others and treat others with respect, with kindness, with compassion, we feel better. It's like, it's our natural state if you think about it.
Yeah.
Taking care of one another, caring about other people, being there for them. So, and basically, I dare to say it's a secret of happiness. We are happier when we're there for others, when we give more than when we receive. So
Yes.
sometimes I would say it's because we ignore what life is truly about. We're here to love and be loved.
Yes, definitely. I agree with you. I agree with you there. See, that is so nice about your books now. To read your story, and it can just transform a person's inner spirit a little bit, because now your mind is in that happy place of the story, for instance.
Mhm.
Wow. This is so amazing to listen to. You are a very deep person. I can hear that you definitely have that sense of connection with people. I think it's good that you are a teacher.
Yeah, I love being a teacher,
I'm
and
sure your
it's
students love you.
I love them. I love them so much. I tell them, guys, you're the reason why I'm a teacher. I love being with you. But it's because of that connection that I'm talking about. I really like to
Yes,
connect to my students in a deeper way. They're not just a number, they are who they are. I can see myself in them.
yes.
And I think that that's why I cannot leave the classroom, because I really love every day being with them, listening to them, what they have to share, and also being there for them.
That's amazing. Yeah. I also have realized that the teachers in America, um, I can definitely see that some, like my school teachers, the teachers who is at my kids' schools, I am so amazed to see how much they love their jobs and how they treat the children. And then you think, why, why are schools and countries so different? Because they think they owe you some, or they are owed something, where you shouldn't work with children if you don't love children.
Oh yeah,
You shouldn't
definitely.
work in a school if you just want to be paid the money or
Yeah,
whatever. You have to do it because you actually love it. And I can
yeah.
see you love it. I can definitely see that you are a good teacher.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Well, anything else that you would like to tell my viewers about your books, or maybe some hope that you want to give them? Because My podcast is Give Me Hope with Johanna. So give my people some hope.
Um, I think that one of my callings, because I mean, as time passes by, I've always been open to say, "Hey, God, what do you want from me? What do you need me to do? Where do you need me to go?" And in 2008, He sent me to this high school where I work, and I've been there since ever since. And throughout that journey, I got my master's in family and marriage counseling, and then I got my PhD in psychotherapy. And it's been quite a journey to discover that nothing is just a random mistake, it's things happen for a reason. And my message of hope that I want to share today is this. I had a very hard time when I was single because I felt there was something wrong with me. I was not the girl that uh, you would approach in a bar because I was like non attractive, let's put it that way. Until one day, my friend's boyfriend, he approached me. We were in this bar, my friends and I, and he said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "What do you mean? What am I doing here? We're just here to have fun." And he said, "This is not a place for you." And he said, "You're a very respectable woman. And what you have to offer, the people who come to this bar, they don't want that. They want something else." And
Yeah.
I said, "How do you know?" Because I was just there with my friends having a good conversation. And then he said,
Yes.
"You're a very respectable woman." And he made me realize my worth and my dignity with that comment.
Wow.
And all I want to share to every woman who's listening to this podcast, and even men, whether you're single or you're married, is that all of us, just for the fact of being alive and being in this world, we deserve to be loved, and we have dignity, and we deserve the best treatment. We deserve to be respected and admired, and we should never trade love or respect for attention.
Yes.
So I just want to say it was a long journey for me, but that process of self discovery that I share in the book, in the first book, led me to discover my husband. My husband was always there working with me at the high school, but I never realized he was one because I was kind of blinded in a
Yeah.
way. I
Yeah.
couldn't see his worth either because I couldn't see mine.
Yeah.
And I always had very clear, ever since I was a little girl, that I was here in this world to be respected. I was aware of my dignity, but somehow I thought that there was something wrong with me. And no, there was nothing wrong. It was just that I was looking for true love. And that's why it makes the journey a little bit difficult because not everyone is ready to love and be loved.
Yeah.
So, to give you hope, take the step, have the courage to love yourself, to accept who you are, embrace yourself, fall in love with yourself. And even if you're married, take your me time to be with yourself, to listen to your thoughts, to feel your emotions and to honor them, and then allow yourself to be loved.
That is such an inspirational message. Wow. Rosa, I could definitely pick up that you have this gift that that you give people, and it is an amazing gift. Don't ever stop being you because you are really definitely an inspiration. I mean, you have definitely stirred up a lot of memories in my mind and how I was and how I changed. And it is really amazing to have someone like you, where maybe one of the students can come and speak to you about things. And because you are so connected and you are so deep thought, and wow, very, very amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story today. Um,
And thank you for the invite.
Yes, and it was really amazing to listen to you and hear your story, and I am definitely going to check out your book. So, if anyone wants to purchase her books, again, I will have the links down below. You can just click on the links and you can purchase Rosa's book. Thank you for being with me today, Rosa.
Yeah. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to give some hope.
You are very welcome. I'm sure you have given a lot of people hope out there today. Thank you so much for joining my show.
Thank you.
Well, you are watching Give Me Hope with Johanna. And if you have a story to tell, please reach out and think about what you say to people. Think about how you treat people. Think about how you want to feel when people treat you a certain way. And all we can do is treat people the way you want to be treated. Live and let live. Be happy, and everybody around you is going to be happy. This is Give Me Hope with Johanna. I will be back next week with another amazing story. And then I will be back from Hollywood, California, where I will be going to Author of the Year gala, and I am looking very forward to tell you more about that. But this is me for today. Rosa, thank you so much for being here, and have a good day, everyone.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Bye-bye.
This has been Give Me Hope with your host, Johanna Vendel. Join Johanna each week and harness the transformative power of storytelling to facilitate healing and growth. Wednesdays